Well, hey guys, Dave here again. And I wanted to make this video today. It's a beautiful day out here in my yard. Um, if you're not familiar with my channel, I started this channel a couple years ago. My videos, they don't get a lot of views and things like that, but that's okay. It's called Zoe Zizzles. I named this channel after my daughter. Her name is Zoe. And the Zizzle part just came from, it was just, I don't know, it was like a nickname that I used to call her when she was little. When she was about 5 years old, I'd be like, hey, Zoe Zizzles. And, you know, it's just something I called her. And when I created this channel, I just named it in honor of her. And if you watched any of my videos, I don't really stick to any, it's just whatever crosses my mind. I talk about religion, I talk about politics, I do funny videos, I talk about pop culture things. Sometimes my videos that I think are funny, maybe other people don't think are funny, but I guess I've got a weird sense of humor. But there is something that I would have to say that I'm an expert about, and that's what this video is about. I've got some notes here because this is a very important subject to me, and I wanted to be able to talk about it and put down some facts. So if you're a person that has issues with depression, and you also deal with stomach issues, I think you might find this video very informative. So I'm just going to start here. Feel free to listen along. What if the answers don't lie in what is immensely large, and instead lie in what is infinitesimally small? At the age of 10, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, IBS, and ulcerative colitis. Every time I went to the bathroom, I experienced extreme cramping and pain, and I would often pass dark-colored blood mixed in with my stool. I had non-cancerous polyps removed on several occasions from my colon. By the time I was 15, I was looking at the distinct possibility that I would soon need a colostomy. I was taking all kinds of drugs, from steroids to proton pump inhibitors that control the acid in my stomach. I was once informed by a nutritionist that my parents had hired that there was a possibility that by the time I was around 25, maybe 30, that I would need a G-tube due to all the scarring in my intestines from the constant ulceration. She said that my intestines would get to a point that they would no longer be able to absorb the vital nutrients that I needed for survival, and without a G-tube, I would just waste away. In my early 20s, this is when I first learned of the brain-gut connection. Hidden in the walls of the digestive system is a second brain referred to as the ENS. Scientists call this brain the ENS, or the enteric nervous system. And it's not little. The ENS is two thin layers of more than 100 million cells lining our gastrointestinal tract from our esophagus to our rectum. This system also can control mood, health, and even the way that we think. Even though the ENS is not believed to be associated with what is called consciousness, it does communicate back and forth with our brains with profound results. Some scientists have postulated that even though we do not believe that the ENS is capable of thought, it may be, and its connection to our brains could be the cause of consciousness as we know it. The ENS does affect our mood and specifically serotonin levels. People with depression usually also have distinctive stomach issues. Now, this is where my own connection to understanding the ENS comes into effect. I noticed that when my stomach hurt, I was also depressed and at times suicidal. It makes sense. If you are unhealthy and you're not feeling good, of course you might be depressed as well. I thought that it was my stomach that was causing the depression in my brain because it hurt. But I later learned that if I learned to take better care of my stomach, I might also end my depression. At one time in my life, I was also on lithium and Paxil for depression, as well as all the pills I took for my gut problem. But when I changed my diet, eliminated stress from my life, and I began to exercise, not only did my stomach get better, but my mood also improved. Changing my diet was simple, and exercising was simple. I discovered that there were trigger foods that affected my stomach. For example, alcohol was a major trigger. I couldn't even have one beer without my stomach going crazy. My doctor thought that maybe that I had a gluten allergy, and he tested me for this gluten allergy, but I had no gluten allergy. Another type of food was anything that was hard to digest, such as raw fruits and vegetables. Now, I could eat cooked fruits and vegetables, but not raw. The hardness and rough edges irritated my stomach and intestine lining. So over time, I began to eliminate foods that I determined made me ill soon after I consumed them. The hardest thing to do next was get rid of the stress in my life. I finally learned after years of practice that I just had to say, fuck it. I had to end toxic relationships. I had to walk away from individuals that carried a bunch of drama with them. Over time, I ended relationships with friends, family, and even lovers in order to protect my health. I was mean at times, but all I cared about was both my mental and physical health. At work, it was very difficult, and I will admit that I had to quit some jobs due to stress. I work as a nurse, and I soon discovered that if I worked at nighttime during the night shift, I could end a lot of stress in my life due to my work. I have now worked the night shift for many years, and my job-related stress levels have decreased dramatically. I am now 48 years old. I am married and I have a little girl, and I'm a nurse. I own a home, and I would have to say that my life is very happy. I quit taking meds for depression and my gut problems when I was about 30 years old. At 48 now, I take nothing except one pill a day for hypertension. I never needed a colostomy, and my diseases are under control. When I learned of the brain-gut connection and how to control it, I believe I saved my own life. Both my parents and my brother had similar issues. My father died of esophageal cancer, my mother of ovarian cancer, and my brother of suicide. I'm the only person in my family who never attempted to take their own life. I believe it is due to the way that I changed my diet and controlled my stress levels due to my stomach issues. I now believe that my stomach issues were not a curse, but they were a blessing. Depression and cancer runs thick in my genetic makeup. But because of my young diagnosis of my stomach problems, I was forced to confront the causes and eliminate them. My parents and brother never were. Because of my age, I routinely have both upper and lower GI scopes done to make sure there is no issues because of the history of cancer in my family. At my last scope, my doctor told me that he could not even see any evidence that I ever had Crohn's disease, colitis, or IBS. Did I pull off a miracle? I don't know. I do know that I'm happier both physically as well as mentally. Can what I accomplished work for you? I don't know. We're all different. I would say that if you're a person who deals with depression and stress on a regular basis, and you have stomach issues as well, it may be that your stomach needs treatment and not your brain. Figure out if there are foods that trigger your stomach issues and eliminate them from your diet. Exercise and do your best to get rid of stress. It may save your life. It did mine. And the reason I'm making this video is because a friend of mine at work who has a daughter who's in her early 20s is suffering from colitis. And she wanted me to speak with her because I've been dealing with this my entire life almost. And I spoke to her daughter, and one of the things while we were talking is that she talked about the stress and the depression. And I explained to her, if you want to fix your depression, you have to get your stomach right. You have to get your stomach right. I really truly believe that the brain has effects on the stomach, but it's the stomach which controls the brain when it comes to depression. And I think that if more studies were done, we would find that there's a serious connection between the gut and the brain when it comes to depression. Because we all, when we're excited or anxious or we go through a breakup or a death in the family, we always go, oh, my stomach is making me sick. My stomach's getting sick and because of all this. But is the stomach getting sick, or is the sickness causing the depression? It's something that I've always wondered about. I don't have enough research, but I know in my own life, I was able to eliminate all of my depression medication once I got my stomach under control. And once I got my stomach under control, it was like I became a totally different person, much more happier, and life wasn't such a hard thing. So I would say if you have depression in your life and you do have stomach issues, try to eliminate stress. Try your best to figure out what trigger foods. For me, alcohol was a major trigger food. Like I said, raw vegetables and fruits, things that were hard to digest, as well as, I had some lactose intolerance, so I had to give up a lot of milk products. And just figure those things out for yourself. And you may be shocked that when you get your stomach under control, you may also come to realize that, hey, I feel like my depression's going away as well. Because like I said, I was on lithium and Paxil, and I don't take anything anymore. So it can be done. I think you just need the tools and the right advice on how to start. So like I said, if you're depressed, if you have stomach issues, work on your stomach first. Get your stomach under control. And your stomach, once under control, may totally eliminate your depression issues. So this is David, Zoe Zizzles. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave comments or questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you. Bye.